Welcome to the Save Par Golf Podcast, where two average golfers talk about golf and things.
Things in golf.
I'm your host, Derek.
I'm Dominic.
We are currently on episode 120, and we are happy to be joined by Matty with Paré Golf. Paré is an ongoing creative outlet paying homage. Oh, wow, I butchered that.
The
golf aesthetics.
You also butchered the spelling.
I did that on purpose so I'd pronounce it correctly, and I totally did. So make sure to give him a follow on Instagram. The handle is at Paré Golf. That's PARE_GOLF. Matty, thank you so much for joining us, and sorry about butchering the intro.
So hold on. Is it 2 underscores? Because it's really, is it?
I think it's 2 underscores because
good catch.
I know.
PARE__golf. Got it.
Yeah.
I was like, that looks way shorter than it does on Instagram.
Yeah, no. Someone unfortunately took the account name, so I had to go with the double underscore.
That's too bad. Well, we like your account better, so that's all that matters.
I appreciate it.
But thank you so much for taking the time and joining us on the podcast. Really, really excited about this episode. We're on episode 120, as we mentioned in the intro. We just kind of want to learn more about your story, how you got started in the company, what Paré means. So if you want to just kind of maybe tell us a little bit about yourself and talk about the company.
Yeah, no, for sure. And again, thank you so much for having me on. Appreciate the intro. This is actually my first podcast, so bear with me as I do this.
But well, that's why I butchered it for you, so you took a little bit of pressure off, right? We're all humans. We make mistakes.
Yeah, like last week, he's like, "Hey, we're not going to do a script," and then he butchers it. This week we have a little outline, and he still butchers.
Yeah, I'm 0 for 2 the last 2 weeks. I've been pretty good the last several weeks, except these last 2 weeks. So, but again, there's a reason behind it. So.
It's all good. It's like golf. It's never perfect, right?
Right.
You just work along with it. Yeah. So quick intros. Well, I'm Matt. I go by Matty most of the time. I started Paré literally of October 2023. I've actually had this idea literally in my notes on my iPhone for so many years. I think it could stem all the way back from like 2012, 2013, where I really wanted to have somewhat of this hybrid that mixes my love and my passion for like streetwear culture, fashion culture. Call me a hype beast, whatever you want to call it, but my love for Supreme and sneaker industry and all of that has been, just part of like my passions growing up, and golf just somehow became a part of it. I started playing golf right around kind of like 7 or 8 years old. My dad started me really young. If you were to ask why, I don't know. It was one of those things where I didn't think I would get into it. I still played all the other sports like basketball, but golf was pretty much like basically like my first love. And from there, took it very seriously, went to a bunch of camps. I actually had the honor and privilege to go to a Princeton camp here in New Jersey that was sponsored by Tiger Woods at the time. He wasn't there, which was kind of unfortunate, but it was really cool at a young age to be able to go to like a go-away camp, play golf, meet people, and try to play competitively. I think the whole goal of that camp was to really get you started in terms of having good swing development, having a sense of how to truly play the game, and really my young love really started off from there. Played all 4 years of high school. Then I actually gave it up as soon as I got to college. None of my friends were playing. I think even so, like back in high school, it was the sport that nobody really paid attention to. I was probably one of maybe 10 people at the most across all 4 years of high school. And so, yeah, really for me, it was one of those things where no one ever got into it. It was always like later on in life that people started to appreciate. And I think for a lot of people, that's basically their story. But for me, like golf has just always been there. Gave it up for college. So that was 4 years. And then all of a sudden my friends wanted to start playing. So picked it back up in 2014, 2015. Then I really started to kind of take it seriously again. Actually evaluating my handicap, started to switch my old clubs into kind of looking into newer ones, getting fitted, going to the range and actually kind of like practicing again. So it was a lot of fun. And I think during that transition time, you want to call it, I really started to think about like, oh, what would be really cool is like, making something that I want to necessarily like wear both on and off the course that fits within my style. Don't get me wrong, like I think there's nothing wrong with like the traditional setting of, wearing polos or slacks, you name it, all this and that. I grew up with all of that stuff. But, as I got older, I had different styles, different tastes, and I wanted to be able to marry that. And I think, obviously at the time I was still starting off my career and, didn't have the capital or really the resources to be able to pull it off, but I've always had the idea. And I guess to like fast forward to how we got to Paré Golf, the main Filipino or Tagalog way of saying it is pare. Add a little bit of that accent, which is also too why I added that accent mark is to kind of showcase like, hey, like that's how you pronounce it as a Filipino. And really what it means is it means friend, it means dude, bro, buddy, however you want to name it. It's a term of endearment that you show to anybody, whether it's in your family, your friends, certain gatherings. A lot of people would say it all the time, especially like my dad and my uncles. So growing up in a Filipino home, Filipino culture, that was a thing, right? And for me, I think that's always resonated with me. And I think obviously with the double meaning of par equals E, there's definitely something there. And yeah, that's how pretty much like the name started. And then kicking off the actual business, which was back in October 2023. If you go back to maybe May, June of last year is when I really started to take it seriously. And I was like, you know what? If I don't go for this, I'm never gonna do it. And not saying that it was like the perfect time, but just seeing some of the brands that are out there that I absolutely admire, I was just like, man, I feel like I just missed my ship in terms of getting into it like very early on. But at the end of the day, I'm still I'm fresh, I'm brand new, but I'm having such a ball with it. It's been such a blast just kind of learning the ropes of developing my own brand and really getting into the nitty gritty details of like putting together what it looks like from like cut and sew stuff to like customizing these hats to understanding like the differences between like certain embellishments on like specific pieces of clothing. Yeah, I know that's a long-winded story. It's kind of all over the place, but that's where we land.
I will say, like, I don't want to toot my own horn here, but I'm normally pretty good at attention to detail. And I will say that I did not even catch the bar. Like,
You didn't notice? You didn't notice that the E is a different color?
No, I did that, but I'm
that's
saying
how I
like par
interpreted it.
is even. Like
Yeah.
paré, like par is even par. Like for some reason I didn't even put two and two together. Like I understood like the meaning of the name because I kind of looked it up and I was like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. But yeah, it totally flew over my head.
You know how you butchered the intro to make him feel more comfortable?
Yeah.
We should have called it pear. Like just to make him feel real comfortable. Like
okay, now yeah, we're down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're joined by Paré Golf today, guys.
Honestly, that's exactly why I added the accent mark over the E. Technically in Tagalog, it's not needed. Everybody knows what pare is, right? It's not pronounced as pear. And so for me, that was kind of like the distinction of like non-Filipinos to understand that like, hey, there is like, a way of saying this. And I think I put this on my website too. It's like aesthetically pleasing. I'm a big fan of like Amelie Door, ALD. And so it's just kind of like, to me, like some of the accent marks on that, stylistically, it just looks awesome.
Yeah.
And if you didn't notice too, like the color palette, which I could go into a lot more detail too, is I went with like the Filipino colors of the flag. So it's more of like muted kind of pastel. So that's also why too.
So you can steal this idea. I give you permission. But if you do it, my royalty check will just be one. You need like a really light purple hat. And it would kind of like
That's
complete like
sick.
the pastel.
I was gonna ask about the
You know,
colors.
I love the yellow. The black one's sick. I was that's one Derek's wearing. I'm left out, not wearing a hat. Sorry. I ran out the house today and I was like, wow, I hope I didn't forget anything. And then I proceeded to forget 4 things.
How it works.
That's how it works. And then even like the green's really nice, you know. You need to add a little purple. You can still keep the pink part and then the blue E. And I think that
Yeah.
would be so nice for like a spring color.
For sure.
Kind of like my hoodie. Not to be like, hey, we could match this, but like, you know, like
Could.
you could.
I love that you brought up.
there.
I love that you brought up purple because that's kind of some of the next colors I want to work with. There's something about purple for me. I don't know what it is. I feel like a lot of brands, whether it's within the golf industry or outside of the golf industry, a lot of brands are using purple right now.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys are noticing that either. So to me, it's just kind of like, oh, maybe purple's coming back.
So purple's my favorite color. I don't think we've ever said that on the pod.
I'm surprised it's red and gold.
I'm a purple guy.
Well, because of the Vikings, but different
Love it.
shape. Well, yeah.
No, I no. Honestly, like this shade of purple is my favorite, like a nice lavender, like a nice lilac. When I was younger, my grandmother, this is gonna sound really bad, but she would like put me in this room.
Shit, a timeout room.
Yeah, yeah. And it was and it was like painted purple.
Hmm.
And it like just like calmed me down. One of my favorite scents is lavender. So for me, purple's very like endearing. But yeah, she put me in this room.
It's
Yikes.
a calming
The,
color.
the purple room.
The timeout room was not very calming though. Oh,
It's because you're being a little shithead, you know.
I still am.
Kid.
I still am. You should have heard the pod I was on last night. Jesus Christ. Sorry.
Oh man.
But yeah, purple. Throwing it out there. I think
You
purple's a
got it.
color.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I was actually going to ask about that because it like what the symbolization or the colors because yeah, they're very pastel,
Yeah.
and very very simple, but very clear of what you're kind of trying to do. So that's awesome. Kind of bringing back the
Just a fan of pastels.
pastels are.
I think they're so nice.
Color palette. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, for me, I've always loved pastels. You know, it's one of those things where it makes obviously colors pop, right? And whether you put it on a shoe or specific pieces of garment, it looks so neat. And so that's why I went with it. I think also too, like the colors of just like the traditional Philippines flag, they're just so bold. Nothing against it, but I think for me, if I wanted to create something, I didn't want to just solely be bound to just those colors, and I wanted to lighten it up a little bit. And I think, obviously in making, I don't want to call it golf apparel, but just apparel in general, I wanted it to stand out. So I think, yeah, the pastel look for me, it's always been a personal favorite, but hopefully, people are reciprocating to it as well.
Were you going to mention something? I was gonna if we could backpedal for a second because so we before we kind of started the recording, we're kind of in the same ballpark as far as age goes, and
You guys are.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there. I'm not.
Don't worry, you'll be there soon enough. Don't worry,
Like I said, I'm gonna die.
It'll catch up really quickly.
Nope,
for sure.
I'll just die.
But back when I was in high school as well, I didn't play golf. I wasn't good enough to be on the golf team. We had kind of a larger school, so we had a lot of people that tried out. But same kind of thing. That wasn't the main sport. That there was good golfers, but it was that very few. There was a small team, but they're all good enough. They're really good. So it's hard to get on the team. But with that being said, it's the tucked in, very just plain Jane, black polo, belt and khakis, whatever it might be. There really wasn't anything fancier, going on with the outfits. But you were talking about you played for the 4 years. Were you do you think you were good enough to play college golf and it was just something that kind of just you're like, it's not my thing. It's not a very popular thing right now, and it's true, it wasn't at the time. It was one of those sports that just kind of got forgotten about unless you were really good.
Yeah, no, I wish I had that skill set or even like the blessing of being supernatural at the sport. Um, at the time, if I remember correctly, my handicap was probably I tried to stay consistent between seven to eight.
Right.
And for me, like that's decent, right? But it's
Especially for a high
not,
school student. Yeah.
yeah, for high
Yeah.
school, but like that's not D1. I'm not going anywhere. There were opportunities to actually go to some D3 schools, very small ones. I think within like the Boston area or Pennsylvania, but at the time, like I just wasn't considering it. For me, I was just having fun with it.
Mhm.
I knew at a level that I was good. I just knew that like if I tried to push myself, I really, really have to like, make it my dedication, my all, in order to get to that level. And yeah, there were some people on my team who, I absolutely admired that actually went out to go and play D1. And it was awesome to kind of watch like their trajectory on it. But yeah, for me specifically, I was realistic. I also too, I wanted to have a life. I wanted to, do the high school things of, having a girlfriend, partying and being with my friends at the same time. So, I didn't make golf my life. If I chose to do it and I'm thinking back at it, yeah, maybe I probably would have given it a shot, but yeah, I don't regret it. So to answer your question, absolutely not. I don't think I could make it into.
So probably could have made a D3 or so, but like you said, you have to be like fully committed, and it's such a time suck, right? You almost have to pretty much dedicate that whole everything to the sport. I do obviously we're talking about your brand, and it has to do with fashion. Golf fashion has been changing for the better, in my opinion. I think both Dom and I would agree on that.
Do you know how great it is to wear a hoodie and play golf?
Yeah,
Like,
Oh yeah,
this is literally a golf hoodie. Like this is
it's a hoodie, but it looks nice,
beautiful.
comfortable.
It's got a really
it's the
cool like
best.
Yeah,
pattern on the
awesome.
inside.
So,
And it's like a mask. I'm gone now.
but I kind of want to dig deep because I don't think we really asked this question. But like, where do you think the turning point was, and like, who do you think like the original OG is as far as making it kind of cool to be able to do whatever, not necessarily do whatever you want, but kind of wear whatever you want with confidence. And this could be on the tour. This could be people that are just maybe social media influencers, that kind of thing. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, for sure. Man, that's such an interesting slash loaded question because I guess if we start off on the tour, right? You can't you
There's a
can't
correct
there is there a correct answer, but you
I mean,
can't
yes.
not.
I mean, yes.
Good, I want to hear yours too. Yeah. So let's.
I think for me as just like a person of color, right, and always looking for diversity, Tiger. Tiger truly for me, of course, like I love basketball, I love Michael Jordan. I have too many Jordans to wear, but like, Tiger for me was like that was my MJ, right? And so like to see someone of that caliber, but also too trying to diversify the game. I think that there was a lot of jokes where it's like literally like a bunch of white people are chasing a black man, and that was true. He was absolutely dominating,
Yeah.
and his obviously his deal with Nike, they were able to elevate the style specifically tailored to him. If you look at some of the other players before him on tour. I mean, like, you could talk about, Arnie, you could talk about Jack, you could talk about other players that were, definitely pushing forward their own sense of fashion and style. But I think for me, it always stems back to Tiger. And I think, we can talk about it a little bit more, but that stems a lot from my inspiration in terms of what I'm trying to build with Paré, right? It's one of those things that Tiger has such a huge influence on my life and kind of like how I approach style. So I think PGA wise, player wise, to me, like it starts from there, right? And that's my personal take on it. Dom, I would love to hear what the correct answer is.
Now I feel bad because I'm not a person of color.
I think I know who you're going to say.
Do you?
Well, I know who I'm going to say, and I know you know who I'm going to say.
Well, yeah, because you're the basic one of the two of us.
I'd say basic.
You're the basic one. It's Payne Stewart.
Okay. Yep.
Like, how many other dudes have you seen out there with the funny little hat, big socks? To me, looking back, he was kind of the one who brought the flavor to golf, right? Dressing that way, wearing his personality on his clothing, that even today we still see elements of that. I'm looking at Derek's fridge right now, and there's the Pinehurst 6 magnet. I'm pretty sure the dude in the silhouette's Payne Stewart.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But see, like I agree, he definitely has style, but I think that was kind of how they dressed back in the day, and he almost like brought it back because that was a pretty popular style, like
So
previous to before.
in my brain, how the question was worded, I took it as like a pioneer.
Yeah.
Like for me, like we were talking about Michael Jordan and everything.
Yeah.
When I was born, like I remember Michael Jordan on the Wizards. I am well aware he is a Bulls legend. Don't yell at me. I am well aware. He's transcendent. He played for the Bulls, but I remember him on the Wizards. I talked about this last night on the Golf Heroes pod. Me not growing up a Tiger makes me not a big Tiger fan. I don't correlate times of my life with Tiger like Derek can, like you can.
I respect it.
I wasn't born until 97. So like at that point, Tiger's already done a ton. I wasn't born yet. So for me, I've grown up watching players like Bubba, whose style is very much him.
Well, that really comes down to like, guess. So there's really no wrong answer, right? It's obviously an opinion, but like
I was just kidding about the right answer, but the right answer is Payne Stewart.
Well, and you guys, it goes back to like Tiger. I totally understand that. Probably 99% of the people would agree with your answer. But like like for me, like I would think in this generation specifically, I would think like a Ricky Fowler because he obviously had a lot of stuff. I mean, and even before that, John Daly had all the loudmouth stuff. So he was,
totally.
So it really depends on like how you're perceiving your fashion and your style. So that, like I said, there's no wrong answer. But I think, at this generation, like,
who do you think the most stylish guy on tour is? We're talking about it.
Oh, right now. Actually, like even before I answer that, I think like even like this might be a hot take, but like under the radar, a lot of people don't give Ian Poulter a lot of credit too.
I love
the plaid pants.
Yeah, and that was all kind of the Puma. They targeted those guys. They had Ricky Fowler. They were kind of that was their whole like motto basically for a while. That's a great answer.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I always look at how wild those pants were back then. And, obviously social media wasn't huge, but if that were today, like, and the way they treated Jason Day recently with the Malden stuff, like, they would rip him apart,
Oh, yeah.
I feel like you have to have loud pants like that to contain his balls. Like to wear like huge balls, you know what I mean? Like to dress like that, shoot a seriously good score, and then be like, "Yeah, I'm doing it all again tomorrow."
I think it's an it's an interesting question because again, like you said, it's really there's no wrong answer. But like you said, with your take with Payne Stewart, like I don't think that's a real popular answer. Not that it's a wrong answer; it's a great answer.
It's the right answer.
But like I said, it all depends on the era of where and. I don't know. I just think it's interesting of like if you think back to the Payne Stewart days to like where we're at now, like with the hoodie sweatshirt. I mean, Justin Thomas is I don't want to say he was the first one, but remember there was a lot of heat that he took about warming up on the driving range wearing a hoodie sweatshirt. It's like it's evolved quite a bit. So I do love where it's at.
Yeah. But I guess what was your question again about who's the most stylish right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like not necessarily even or I guess
no. I asked on tour. Yeah,
sure, yeah. That's a good take.
Yeah, I think for me right now, again, this is personal preference, just because I don't know anybody else that's sponsored by them, but Keith Mitchell and Sid Mashburn, the way that they're putting those fits together are really timeless. They're classic. They're a little bit more on the traditional approach, but again, I grew up with that, and so to me, like some of the styles that they're bringing back with some of the polos that he's wearing, some of them with a ton of buttons and kind of a little bit more of like a shorter cut on the collar. To me, I've always appreciated and loved that look. So yeah, to me, him right now. But other than that, I feel like the the field is looking all the same right now, right? And yeah, I can't think of anybody else that truly stands out. I'm not saying that Keith Mitchell is the one that's standing out. Um, but yeah, I think, we go back, like, right, you're talking about, finally we're able to wear hoodies. It took a long time too for people on the PGA or just in golf in general to accept joggers. I remember back then, like, and I know a lot of people, and like, shout out to, I don't know him personally, but Michael at Students Golf that started that brand. Like, he also started Publish, and he's the one that also brought in the jogger very early on, right? And that was very early on streetwear culture. The same thing too with Ronnie Feig, and for me, when the jogger came out, and at that time, that was the look, right? And in my head, that was like, man, I wish I could bring that on the course, but my dad or my uncles are gonna roast me to death if I ever put on a jogger. We fast forward to now, look, everyone's wearing joggers, and now it's become that thing that is now quote unquote played out. And don't get me wrong, I think I still appreciate them. I don't wear them personally on the course, or even off the course anymore. But it's kind of crazy to see how it's really shifted. As far as like now, like, it's acceptable to wear hoodies, it's acceptable to wear joggers, and now, like, you're talking about live golf. It's now acceptable to wear shorts.
Shorts.
Is the PGA going to follow suit?
Probably.
You look at Anthony.
Probably
You
not.
look
I
at
could see them being like, nah.
yeah. I mean, you look at Anthony Kim. I think it was a practice round. I don't think it was a full round, but he was wearing a t-shirt. That was freaking awesome.
Yep.
And shout out to him, because like he was also too one of the players that I grew up with, especially someone of Asian descent. Like, that was amazing to see, especially during an era where a lot of people were calling him like kind of like the next Tiger, before he got injured and fell off. But like, yeah, it's just, again, it's stuff like that. Like, things are changing, and I think it's great to see. But and I'm sure a lot of people have said this over and over, but like, golf is just so behind on just keeping up with the times, and nothing wrong with it. It just means that there's more room for innovation. There's more room for growth, and acceptability across, like, introducing new things.
Yeah. Going back to Ricky, not to.
Well, hold on. I have a few things. I've been like mentally just like sitting here and it's been stewing. We're talking about style on the course. One, I think we might be the best dressed golf podcast, you and I.
205%.
Hold on. No, you laugh. Go back and look at what we played in Half Moon Bay and tell us we are not the trippiest duo. I'm out there, Jordan 1 High Navy golf shoes, joggers, friggin' golf hoodie, and a hat, and I'm blasting Pop Smoke all day. Derek's out there.
I think I had the 12. I brought my
12s, pants, camel quarter zip.
I brought the Half Moon Bay. I was an idiot and didn't bring it warm enough.
But then, like, if we look at the tour, for me, I think what Jason Day is doing with Malbin is something that we've never seen. And I really appreciate it. But then, like, before I don't want to say defected, before he switched to live, I think Cameron Smith was one of the best dressed golfers. Because I really liked all the penguins he would wear, and it was fun. And he brought like a sense of energy to the PGA, and I'm happy that now he's on live and it's a bit more appreciated. And then we can't talk about fashion and golf and not appreciate the LPGA, our girl Gigi.
Oh yeah,
of course.
Gigi Stoll. Good. I every time she posts a fit, I'm like, you gotta stop. Like, I'll comment on her. I'm like, you're too drippy.
It's really cool. Yeah,
Knock
we had
it
her on
off.
the podcast when she was on the
Epson tour,
and then she later on last year got her the LPGA tour card.
Yeah,
so that was very cool.
I think
that's a good point.
Like, there's different facets to fashion in golf, right? You can't talk about just the men. The ladies are doing it exceptionally well. Gigi's killing it with all of her Malbin. her Nike stuff and whatever.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
you look at Rose Zhang too. She just recently did
mhm.
the Malvin collab with Adidas, and yeah, I was saving the Malvin talk for maybe, like, but now that we're on it, like, there's you got to give credit to them. Like, it's, a lot of my friends who, they're starting to get curious into, like, some of the other brands and all that, and I've been telling them, like, how big of a deal it is for Malvin to, like, literally take the leap for
That's
a lot of us, right? To get PGA credited, approved, whatever it is, it's truly amazing, right? And it's yeah, a lot of, again, a lot of the traditionalists were giving a lot of shit to Jason Day, but at the same time, I'm like, you're giving shit to something that was literally a thing 10, 15 years ago.
yeah.
Like, those pants aren't necessarily quote unquote new. It's just, it's, again, we're going through that cycle again in fashion as a whole, that long baggy pants, however you want to call it, it's coming back. um and honestly, I love it
I
personally.
love that people were like making fun of him. And I'm like, let's see. He plays more golf than you. He plays better golf than you. He's playing more events than you. I think he can wear what he wants. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, regardless of if they're paying him or not, I'm pretty sure he could be like, nah, I don't like those.
Yeah,
And
I
then
think
wear
that's
something
just,
else.
he likes that style. That's what he wants to go with. And
Yeah.
like again, it's
And then I remember I saw it was when Anthony Kim, it might have been his like 65 round that he shot. Everyone's like, "Oh, he looks like a bum, no belt, whatever." And I'm like, "Dude, he's comfortable and he's shooting a 65.
yeah, leave him alone.
You
yeah,
can't even dress proper and shoot a 70. I can't
yeah,
either. I'm not throwing shots at anybody, but we're at this point in golf where people can finally dress comfortably and how they want to, and now we're seeing people go, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's too progressive." And I almost wonder if
yeah.
it's the older generation where there's
Oh,
people our
100%.
age that are like, "Hell yeah, do it exactly."
Yeah,
Step outside of golf, right? Just look at culture as a whole, right? You We live in a society that, I, again, there's a lot of different climates, right? But when it comes to fashion, everyone is just wearing what they want and what they love, right? Obviously, there are certain trends, but to see people being more comfortable in their skin, um, whether you identify as anything, like, to me, like, that's just awesome. And I think, again, golf is behind, and they're trying to get used to it, but it's a shift that I think is totally needed, right? Again, it's just catching up with, what is now just acceptable as a society.
I think the PGA should have a tunnel, like the NBA has a tunnel where we can just see the golfers get fits off.
that'd be
It'd
really
be
cool.
so sick.
Yes.
It'd be everybody in just like shorts and a t-shirt though, and it'd be just like, oh, don't know.
Sick to see all
It'd
the
be
street
like,
though, walking
yeah,
into
it'd be like,
the
I don't know that guy, but here he is in shorts and a t-shirt.
before
Yeah.
we transition, I do want to mention two other things about fashion. Is one, Michelle Wee was also very big. She used to have the high
Yes.
top Jordan shoes. She was one of the pioneers, I think, in the women's golf. Or
Yeah,
like had
I was just
Oh
thinking
yeah.
current.
yeah.
Yeah,
And the other one too, I don't know if you remember going back to Ricky Fowler though, because I know with his loud colors, but he was one of the first, I think, guys that actually wore joggers. But not only the joggers, do you remember he had the high top Pumas?
I do.
Yeah,
I
the
think
high top Pumas.
I think that was one of
Yep.
the
With
first
the
high top
with the strap,
with the
With the
never had.
strap.
Everyone,
right. So
everyone was like, "What the fuck?"
that's why, like, for me, like with this generation, that's why I would say he's more like, for me, the pioneer for the fashion side of making things. Because again, I think he was one
Yeah.
of the few that pushed the limits with the joggers and the high top shoes, and so that
Yeah.
was
And
one of the two I wanted to mention.
I think also too, just like you got to give him credit for the flat brim hats as well.
That's another one, yeah, and the long hair.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I mean,
yeah,
that
the
could
long
be
hair.
me.
Well, that's yeah, but I mean, you just didn't
I
really see
think
that like on the tour like this. Who's this like motocross kid that's kind of playing really good golf? But no, that was a good conversation. We obviously, you're an apparel company, you're into fashion. We're obviously big into the fashion, so I think it's really cool to have these conversations because 20 years ago these conversations probably weren't being had, or maybe they were, but they were nowhere near where we're at now. So I think it's
Yeah.
cool to talk about
Yeah.
that.
No,
Um,
it wasn't publicized, right? And I
exactly.
think it's, again, you talk about getting more
God, look at that
comfortable in your
picture.
own skin.
Yeah.
Look at that one.
So obviously, you're a company that offers apparel, as we've been talking. So we have the 5-panel, 6-panel hats, along with the mock neck shirt and t-shirt, which super nice, high quality. On your website, most of your products are sold out.
Congrats.
Which is it's a great thing, obviously. Do you plan on doing any, doing any re-releasing, or do you have anything down the pipeline that's going to be new? I mean, you talked about the purple, but do you have anything else you want to talk about as far as that might be coming out?
Well,
Future Dom and Derek collection.
Yeah.
We could totally work on it.
Sweet.
Don't get us started.
No, to me, it's been so humbling that certain things have just sold out. I truly, not a cliche thing. I wake up every day and I'm like, I cannot believe people are actually buying my product, right? I can't believe people are actually buying the vision. That's not saying that it's like I am like cheapening out in any way. It's more so it's like it's just I'm putting out stuff that I like, right? And so like I guess to give background, what I started off with, which I tried to come prepared just in case. Like the original, camp cap and the olive. To me, that was something where it was just like I was experimenting with like the colors and what I wanted to do with it. And for me, the camp cap has always been a staple in my closet, and it's because of Supreme. Right? Supreme has been my love and obsession, and it's terrible. And I get a lot of shit for it, but at the same time, like that's what has stemmed a lot of like just my different styles and tastes. And so me being able to push that out there, I wanted to see if people would be comfortable with that being kind of like the starting point, specifically for the brand. I launched that within, I guess, like the first couple of days, maybe even less than a week or so, completely gone. I had to go back to my manufacturer and do a reorder because I kid you not, like I got DMs, texts, and again, it was so humbling that like I was like, I did not expect that at all. And we did a re-release, and obviously I produced a lot more. It took a lot longer, but it's sold out again. I only have like maybe like a few more that I keep to the side just in case, like for example, like doing contests and stuff. Yep. Again, it's been super humbling, and right now, no plans of like truly re-releasing stuff unless like I really start to see a demand. And I think right now I'm in a mode of experimenting. I think you guys obviously know the next big thing is for next month. I know. Specific.
I don't know.
Derek doesn't. So I should clarify. Derek has no access to the podcast page because one, I don't know the password. And two, I don't want people second guessing.
Forgot password thing just so you can redo it.
No.
You know what I mean?
No. If it gets to that point, yeah. And two, I don't want people to be like, who are we talking to? It's just kind of easy. It's like, man, you're going to get some out of pocket from me. And it's Dom, it's not Derek.
Yeah.
Plus, if I remember it, the story about, I had told the story last night. The reason I got in charge of the podcast Instagram is because you couldn't make another Instagram page at the time.
Yeah, I had too many Instagram accounts that I had on my Instagram. So I was maxed out.
That's how I got put in charge of the page. That's a fun little story.
Why couldn't you wet?
She just drank a bunch of water.
Got it. Yeah. I thought she peed on her.
No, she wouldn't do that. We got my mascot here. Not really mascot, but she's just a little toy poodle.
She's all wet. And I'm like, why is she wet?
I thought she peed on herself. Like, she just drank a boatload of water.
Oh, dang. A wet poodle.
Yeah.
Derek, actually, to give you like backtrack. So I guess like,
do you want to see what's coming out? Do you want me to just show you?
He's gonna show
me. I have it in hand right here.
Okay.
So,
okay. I didn't know.
I guess like to backtrack, a lot of the things that I wanted to start doing, it was paying homage to all the things that I love about golf, and two of the main ones are really it's Tiger, and it's also it's the Masters. I think a lot of people relate to that. And I wanted to do it in my own way and paying homage to certain things like that. So, unfortunately the Tiger and Bachneck, which is like the white and pink one that I recently did like a contest giveaway to kind of like amp up the release for June, hopefully, fingers crossed. But that pays homage to his 1994 Pro Am win, and I think to me like that polo was so iconic, and so I basically wanted to build something from the ground up, make it a mock neck because I love mock necks, and but also to make it a little bit more loose fitting, similar to like how he wore his polo back then, and kind of paying homage to kind of like the style, back in the 90s.
Yep.
So that's coming up, and then obviously, the Masters has been, it was always a bucket list dream of mine to attend, and you know luckily by the grace of God, my dad and I got a chance to go in 2022, and to share that experience with him. We went to the Monday and Tuesday practice rounds, and it was the year that actually Scotty won. So it was incredible. I think everybody deserves to go. But long story short, Masters is kind of like my favorite thing, and the thing that I loved the most was back in the 70s into the early 90s, the way that they distributed the badges or the tickets, the way that they were styled and like developed were just so unique. And I wanted to pay homage to that. So a lot of the orders recently are getting this badge that I'm putting together. And basically, if you kind of take a look at it, obviously it has like that traditional, logo font. January 1992 is my birth year, but also too, it's the year that Freddie won as well. So there's significance to that. Obviously, April of this year. This one is just a representative of New York City as the zip code. Obviously, I'm in New Jersey. I live in New Jersey. I was born here, but New York City has always had my heart since the day I was born. And so, it's always NYC forever for me. And then kind of just like the staples of like the slogan of Mahal Golf, which means love golf in Tagalog. And then, just little details of like what this patch is. I'm honestly interested in like what people do with it. I had bigger plans initially, but timing and me learning the ropes of, developing my own things, it was just, I made some mistakes. I won't lie about that, but it's been fun. And
I'll tell you my pet peeve about the patch.
Yeah.
I love it. We got sent patches. I made sure Derek got his.
I love it.
I didn't hoard both. I wanted so badly to put it on my backpack.
Oh, like to have like an adhesive on the back?
No.
Adhesive?
Like I just ironed one on, but it's too big.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I just ironed on a patch because I'm a big fan of Daniel Arsham. He's a modern contemporary artist. So I have an Arsham Studio patch on my bag. I'm like, let's put the Mahal, sorry, right above it. And then I put it on and I'm like, nope, not gonna fit.
Yeah.
I was like, damn. I love it. I think you put on your story, some guy clipped it onto his golf bag using the little hole.
That's what I was kind of thinking would be really cool.
I wanted to like actually iron it to like my back so people would see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's huge. It's like I thought I got the dimensions right. Again, learning curves and all that. But yeah, next time, I'll definitely make like smaller versions for next year. But then also too, like in paying homage to that, just the badge hat that's coming out next month. So this is the first time that, if you're showing that clip, that's what it looks like.
I don't know how, but we'll figure it out. It's funny because it's funny. Yeah, I was saying you keep saying we'll. No, it's me.
Yeah. Well, we're here together, so we say we. But really, that's very cool. What was your favorite part about Augusta?
We have two friends going this year.
For sure.
Man,
the other one,
Brian.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Brian's going.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
cool.
And then
Luke. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite part of it?
That is so tough to narrow down, but honestly, I think
there's an easy answer.
I mean, not only the smell, but and like also too, just like the scenery of like as soon as you walk in, you're like, holy shit, this is something else, right?
Like heaven on earth, you say, right? And as far as the golf, I mean, it's like
it's truly it's better than Disneyland. I joke around all the time that like it was better than my wedding day. Like it was truly
Maybe we shouldn't show
magnificent.
this clip.
Yeah, we'll cut that. We cut that one. No, just kidding.
No, I don't know how.
No, my wife, she knows that I joke all the time about it. But I guess, all right, if I were to narrow it to two things, obviously, as soon as you get there, like the number one thing to do is go to the pro shop. You know, and I think, you know, going back to this is actually going to be like the cheapest thing that I ever put out, probably on the website, or as far as like hats in general, because the way they do it over there, it's also inexpensive. They make it very affordable, and I wanted to honor that. And so, like when you're at that pro shop, you are truly just surrounded by like, oh my God, like you want to get everything, right? And it was truly overwhelming. But you know, I think the best part too is like you didn't have to lug it around either. You can literally just go right next door and then ship it out to your house, and that was it. Yeah, it's incredible. The system as a whole.
So
They got it.
I would buy.
They got it streamlined. I was gonna say, I wonder what the over under is like on a day of how much they sell in apparel. That'd be a lot.
I'm making Brian bring me back a bucket hat.
Bucket hat?
Yeah.
Very cool.
So hold on. I have a question. So we're talking about golf fashion. My style is a little bit more loud. Me
I was gonna say louder out there.
out there. Do you think it'd be sacrilegious to tie dye a Masters bucket hat?
No, not at
Cool,
all.
I'm gonna do it.
Not at all. Not at all. Honestly,
I just needed somebody to support me because I knew Derek would say no.
I've seen wilder things. I mean, like it honestly, again, it's totally up to you. I personally would never do it because it's like for me, like I don't really like tie dye that much unless
I
it's
love
like
tie dye.
There are certain things that I like, but
I got tie dye on just to piss you off.
Oh no, I love it. Again, it's just
I'm
not
just
for
teasing
me,
you. It's
but for
okay.
others. But yeah, no, do what you want, man.
I'm gonna tie dye a Masters hat, but I'm gonna use pink for the azaleas.
That'd be pretty cool.
The azaleas, I love it. But I guess like the number outside of the pro shop, I think the number one thing was like walking around all 18 holes with my dad. Being able to do that and like, you know, follow certain players that were practicing at the time. We actually got to follow Tiger, which was amazing. He was with JT, and I think it was Freddie too. They truly were not kidding. When I was reading in the forums like how hilly it was, my God, it is a workout. Like, you know, again, I mentioned, you know, right before the call, I have gout. And so like to me, like I was just so nervous that like my foot was just gonna get like super aggravated at the end. Luckily it didn't. But yeah, the terrain is unbelievable. Literally it's like walking the grass, like itself is like almost like walking on carpet. I don't know how to describe it other than that. I'm probably describing it wrong completely, but being able to do that across all 18 holes, see everything, and also too, it wasn't as crowded because it was a practice round, and it was awesome too because like I was able to actually bring a camera because you can't bring phones, and so I was able to, you know, take some photos, keep those memories, and yeah, I look at it all the time, and it's just kind of like, man, I can't believe I was able to share that with my dad, especially too, because you know he's the one that, you know, introduced me to the sport. And
did you steal anything? Because I think I probably would.
No,
flag stick.
Well, like nothing crazy, but like, do you remember? Was it a couple of years ago that tree fell?
Yeah,
I'm taking a part of that tree. I'm taking it.
Okay, so not like you're thinking more like something like nature-esque.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, because
I'm not gonna steal like a door from the cabin or something.
I mean, don't tempt me with a good time.
Yeah,
I'll be the first person to ever get fully kicked out.
Got like Dom's face just banned.
And it's me with like a door. Yeah, I'm not saying like anything crazy, but I'm like, God, I might take like some grass or something.
Yeah, my dad actually wanted
running
to.
on the course though.
Be tough. What'd you say?
My dad kind of wanted to, but I'm like, don't do it. Like, just
I'm that guy.
It's like, God forbid someone sees you and it's like the wrong person. It's like, I'm trying to enjoy our time. It was again, yeah, like it's almost two, right? Like you have to like as much as you want to like whatever, like yeah, take a wood chip or a piece of grass. At the same time, like there's so much respect for the course that it's like you
Kind of
don't
a
even
sacred
feel like
place, right?
yeah, you don't feel worthy of even like stepping foot into this place.
Will you tell us off air what you stole?
Yeah.
Is that what you're
Yeah.
getting at? Like off air?
I think he winked at us. He was going to tell us afterwards. He's like,
Yeah,
how was
maybe.
Augusta? I'm like, I don't know. We were there for 3 minutes. My dad stole something. Got kicked out.
Literally, we walked in and they're like, nah.
Your security turned right back
Yeah.
around.
Yeah,
See,
we were
my
done
issue is
for.
like the older I get, the more intrusive my thoughts get, and the more I act on those intrusive thoughts. It'd be like Dom.
I know who I'm not inviting if I go to Augusta.
It'd be like Dom. Dude, the content we would get.
Yeah.
I'd be like, Dom, go climb that tree. I'd be like, you know what?
Yeah.
That's a good idea, brain. Let's go climb that tree in Augusta. And then there's just
I'm
there's
sure there was
demands.
some there was some
bystanders
people.
climb that tree.
Yeah. Jim Nance for the call.
Yeah.
Uh,
Do you imagine all the clicks we would get?
It would go.
I was gonna say, like, when we went to my wife and I went to the Ryder Cup in 2016, we kind of did the same thing. I think if I
Nice.
was to go to the Masters, like I would definitely want to go during at least one practice round. One, because you can take a camera and take pictures. That was one of the reasons why we went to the practice round, because you could bring your phone in. So we walked by Tiger. We were like, me to Dom from Tiger Woods. Grant, he was just like a co-captain, coach, or whatever. But it was cool to see it and actually get some content.
I saw somebody brought a film camera to Augusta one year. So they were taking like film pictures on like a point and shoot.
That'd be sweet.
And it was like I think it was captioned like how golf looked back in the day, but it was modern players.
That would be sweet.
And it was just like a 35 millimeter point and shoot film camera, kind of like what I did at Alcatraz to like kind of. So my dad gave me a film camera from when he went to Alcatraz when he was in the Navy. So I was like, cool, let me bring that to California and take all the pictures. And my dad looked at them and absolutely loved them. And that's kind of like what you did with your dad, except my dad wasn't there. So it was a boys trip and he's not one of the boys.
He's just a dad.
But yeah, no, I think that'd be really cool is just bring a film camera places, stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
I think that's easier said than done.
I know. I've been on did you get in the do you do the raffle every year or the drawing? Because that's what I do.
I have 3 emails we can enter. Or if you come to the podcast.
Oh yeah, because you just need a different address. That's it.
Gonna say, the kicker though is because you have to put your address in, so you'd have to finagle that somehow.
Yeah, it has to be.
We know people's addresses.
Yeah.
We send it to Jordan's parents.
Exactly.
No, I want to say I wish we won through the raffle. We got lucky. Excuse me. A good family friend of ours who actually gets to volunteer almost every year at Augusta because his family lives down there. Offered it up to us, and it was one of those like it was very last minute. It was not planned at all, and yeah, it was like. All right, fuck it. I guess we're going. And we did it.
Good for you. I'm glad you were able to manage that.
Our first logo is like heavily like Augusta inspired. And the best part is this was designed by somebody who has never played golf, does not know about golf, but he's like, I know the Masters is important. And I was like, you're damn right. I guess it is.
You did a good job.
So yeah, Eli did a great job. Shout out to him. He is now a very famous sports writer. He's not famous yet, but I like to call him famous. But yeah, he's a sports writer. Yeah.
We do, obviously we're kind of getting running out of time here, but I do want to ask a couple more questions. We'll do some rapid fire questions. But one, what has been your best seller as far as your products you've been?
Recently, I guess it goes back to the yellow hats, the yellow and the black hats. Yeah, again, that was something I was just dicking around, and I was like, I found these nylon hats. They were uniquely washed. They're actually made here and manufactured here in New Jersey. And I think it's a detail that a lot of people miss on the website, or like they don't see it when if I post it and I put it in the comments. But yeah, that hat, I I did like a very small release at the time, sold out instantly. And then I was like, okay, I guess I got to re-up this. Made way more, and that sold out in like 2 3 days, pretty much like over the weekend when I did it. Um, it's had an awesome response, and again, like I think you guys will appreciate again, like I'm all about like storytelling and like having something personal tied to it. So like the obviously the yellow represents the sun of the Philippines, which goes really well with like the pastel look, but also too it's a reminder of my mother-in-law who her favorite flower was the sunflower. And so like when you look at it, and I'm pretty sure you can see it, like it literally looks like the sunflower yellow. She passed away due to her battle of breast cancer a couple years ago, and she was actually the one. No, I appreciate it, and she was the one that has always tried to push me to go and do this. And obviously, I never listened. I was just like, no, I'm too focused on my career, focused on other things, and now that she's obviously passed, I obviously like I have regrets, right? I wish she can see what I was able to build so far, and so like I think that hat and specifically has meant probably way more than just me releasing like the original Camp Cap. Um, so yeah, that's the number one seller right now, and I'm
I
happy
really
that
like the
it
yellow
is.
one.
Yeah, I was going to ask
Yeah.
you what your personal favorite is, but I think you kind of answered that question with that answer. So, but that's
Yeah.
very cool, and I love that most of the companies and brands that we talk to and entrepreneurs like that's the whole beauty of a lot of these businesses, right? It's not just they're not just selling a product; it's something that they stand behind, and it's normally something it's based off of like a story, whether it's tied to their native, where they're from or whatever it might be. I think it's so cool that's how a lot of these brands are kind of you know come up is because of that. And I think it's really unique and really cool.
Yeah.
Uh,
So before you start
yeah.
going off the rapid fire questions,
Yep.
I have a couple questions. Um, so going back to your website, you have the care package.
Yeah.
What's in the care package? Because I'm curious and I don't really want to click on it because I don't know I'm going to want it.
I think it's sold out now.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. The care package is actually what I sent you guys.
Okay.
It's a little bit more tailored, but yeah, originally it came with the original Camp Cap. It came with the custom dust bag, which included like a bunch of
Mhm.
accessories, written note, and then also too, not everybody got this, but if you got the care package, and obviously I did a lot of like family and friends seating and stuff, it gave context as to like the story behind Pare, and just why I wanted to do this, what it's meant to me, and all this and that. So that was just kind of like an additional card.
Okay.
Sure.
And I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think that was pretty much it.
I use
As far as like,
I use the big dust bag. I have all my teas in it
love it.
because
Mhm.
I lose teas all the time and I have so many. So now they're just all in a big ass bag.
Every bag full.
Yeah, no, dude, it's a
Yeah.
great bag. Um, and then second of all, we've been talking about I feel like everything. What does being a Filipino golfer mean to you?
Oh, it means everything. Again, I grew up in a predominantly white town, and the golf team was predominantly white, and
Mhm.
so I was truly, I think I was one of maybe three Filipinos growing up from elementary school all the way to high school. Um, of course, like I grew up with my family, and I made sure that I had those ties, and
Mhm.
I made sure I was rooted and grounded in kind of Filipino culture as a whole. But to be Filipino and golfing, it's not usually a mix you see, and so I think that's why I also appreciate like Jason Day. He's Filipino and Australian, so it's always nice to see people that look like you. There's other Filipinas on the LPGA tour like Bianca. Um, there's up and coming college golfers that are hopefully they make the tour. that are also Filipino as well. And so I think to me, it means everything, right? And I think, ultimately that's why I wanted to start the brand, is to show that we are here, and I want to represent us and try to do that as best as I can. But also to open up the gates to other people that don't necessarily know Filipino culture as well. I think the one thing that a lot of Filipinos pride themselves on are like, we are very welcoming, and we love to host. We love to take care of our people. And like, once you are invited or welcomed in, you're automatically treated like family, right? And I think ultimately that's kind of like the mission and kind of like the idea that I want to do, right, with the brand.
A great answer. I love that. Good question.
I was on the Los Golferos, I think they call it Salute Golferos podcast last night. It comes out Friday. You can listen to me ramble for like an hour and a half, and it's beautifully me. But their whole podcast is about giving the Latino golf community a story and a platform to tell their story, which makes me feel very honored being the first non-Latino on their podcast. Because I am very white. I'm funny, even though nobody laughed.
I was waiting to see where you were going. We were waiting.
I was waiting to see the reaction. No, I was waiting to see the reaction. And their whole thing is telling stories. In the Latino golf community, they're kind of frowned upon to play golf. It's the white man game. It's snobby, it's snooty, and I love that they're telling a story on, hey, everybody can play golf. Golf is for everybody, and it should be for everybody. So I really love that about what they're doing in their platform. And your platform reminds me so much of their platform in a lot of the really good ways. It's all about family. It's all about the culture, the heritage, telling your story your way. And I think that's such a beautiful thing that I feel like golf doesn't have. I feel like it is a lot of companies just selling things to sell things, where now we're starting to see people actually use a platform to tell a story. You're using your hats to create the Filipino flag and to tell a story of your mother-in-law. You're using colors that aren't traditionally golf, and you love that. I think that's such a cool thing that we're starting to see more multicultural brands come out and do this, but also individuals say, hey, this is my heritage. I love it, and I'm not going to really do anything about it other than love it and praise it. I think that's super cool, and that's why I really wanted to ask that question. Because I think it is important to tell your story about, at some level, golf is very individual, but it's so much bigger than you or I or Derek or his dog, whoever,
100%. And
that's it. That's my spiel.
We've got a few rapid fire questions for you, and then we'll wrap it up. The first one here is, what is your favorite Instagram account? Could be golf or non-golf related, just in general.
God, I hope it's mine.
Oh man, that's so tough. I think maybe as of recent, I might have the name wrong, but is it Salt Hank? I'm a big foodie, and I love his content. He has like ASMR, like ways of like making a sandwich, and it's been pretty. It's very soothing.
Salt Hank.
Salt Hank.
Salt Hank. Yeah.
Okay, let me try to see if I can find it.
I don't know if that's.
I can't do it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I can't do ASMR and food.
He's got like 1.6 million followers here.
Well, he's doing something better than we're doing something. That's for sure. He's got a killer mustache.
Yeah, his Instagram account, but also too his like.
Look at that. That's a caterpillar, dude. Hold on, is that Nomar? Oh, I thought that was Nomar Garcia-Parra.
Okay, I like that. Yeah. Oh yeah, he's got all sorts of goodies on here. Oof. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I like that answer.
Keep it in your pants.
He makes delicious sandwiches.
They look good. Yeah. Favorite golf logo?
Other than yours. Have to add it.
I know you said these are rapid, but these are tough. I was not prepared.
They're not really rapid. It's just
I was on the other side of it last night. Oh my God. I don't know how people do it.
Yeah, it's easy coming from on our end when we're asking the questions, but actually responding.
I mean, I know it's biased and it's probably a given, but like Augusta National, right? That's
I like. Okay.
yeah.
You have a logo?
It's
I feel
yeah. I
dumb.
mean, it's basically it's the Masters logo, right?
Yeah, it's just the
Except
Masters.
Oh,
it's
okay.
just
I
yeah.
feel
But it
less
doesn't.
dumb then. I
Yeah.
thought
Yeah.
maybe they had like a very cool like, hey, this is the golf course logo. I figured it was the Masters. That's
Okay.
dumb. It's been a long day.
It's all good.
I used all my good questions already.
It's either the lyric one or the walk up one or whatever.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
What would your walk up song be? So like you're playing, you got to make people go, damn, who's coming up? What are you playing?
Earth, Wind, and Fire, September.
Ooh,
All right, I like it.
we're gonna skip you.
Do you want me to answer on this one again?
Not really.
Okay, yeah, we'll skip me. So we've had this conversation the last few times about pizza rolls. We got on this kick. We still, and I don't know why, but how many pizza rolls do you think you could smash in one sitting?
In one sitting, how long do I have?
Sitting.
Sitting could be 3 hours. It could be an hour, whatever you think.
How many could you eat until you get full?
Yeah, there you go.
Nobody's ever
I
asked how long a
do.
sitting is, and now I don't know how long a sitting is.
All right, let's just say within like an hour, or I guess like until I get full, I could probably crush 35, maybe 40.
That's
Okay.
a good answer. I guess yeah, we could have worded it like, it's kind of like you're at like an old country buffet, right? You could get up and keep on going back and
Oh,
forth. How
God.
many are you gonna smash?
I'm surprised nobody's asked me that. I'm gonna throw it up.
Yeah. Well, one last question. It's a food question. I'll let Dom take it away. You can ask it however you want to. My
So if we're ever in New Jersey, God forbid, just kidding.
I'd love to go to New Jersey.
Never
I
been
love
there.
New York, man. I love NYC.
I've never been to New Jersey. I've heard kind of mixed reviews, mainly Staten Island. Mainly from Pete Davidson, but that's okay. Wherever in New York or New Jersey, I'm sorry. Where should we go eat? Like, where are you taking us? Because you're hosting.
In New Jersey?
Yeah.
Don't
say New York City.
No. Automatically, I'm just gonna take you to the closest bagel shop. I think our New Jersey bagels rival against New York easily.
I love a good bagel.
Yeah, I think even Montreal. And I think I'd give you. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Taylor ham, but that's our.
Yes.
It's kind of like it's almost like a thin slice of ham, and then you like fry it up on the grill.
Mm-hmm. You would like it.
It's very good. You can crisp it up and it almost tastes like bacon, but you kind of get it in like a patty form. North Jersey is it's funny. You can get into a whole argument. North Jersey, where we're from, we all call it Taylor ham, which is technically the brand of it. Everybody else in New Jersey, if you're going from central all the way to south, they call it pork roll. And it's a big fight. You can totally look it up. But I'm definitely taking you to a bagel shop and getting you a Taylor ham, egg and cheese.
That sounds really good, actually.
I knew it as a pork roll, so as soon as you said it, I was like, yeah, it's a pork roll.
Yeah, we can argue. We can keep.
Well, no. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's just that's what I have heard it as. Yeah.
Either from central or southern.
Probably. Yeah. Out here in the Midwest, we don't fight. I always think if we had another civil war, the Midwest would just kind of sleep through it.
Yeah. You guys are peaceful.
Matty, man, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. Hopefully you had a good time as your first podcast. We appreciate you taking the time. I know it went a little longer than we
If you want to do other ones as well, let me know. Yeah. I have suggestions of friends of ours that would happily have you on to tell your story.
For sure.
No, you guys are awesome. I really appreciate it. Again, you guys reaching out, and honestly, shout out to Buena Gente, man. He's the one that kind of put me on, and you guys obviously reached out, and I'm super blessed. Again, I didn't think in a million years I'd ever have a platform to be able to even do this. So, and the fact that you guys offered this up to not just me, but to so many other brands and other people within the industry, it's pretty awesome. So, guys, keep crushing it.
If you want to do it again, we have friends.
Definitely. Yeah.
I mean, obviously with us, but if you want to go on another platform, we have friends that would definitely love to have you on.
Yeah. Hear your story.
Love it. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Keep up the hard work and great work. And like I said, like Don said, maybe we can have you down on the podcast, maybe later on next year or later on this year, early next year,
Yeah. And yeah, you let me know. Dom, I know you mentioned a little bit of it in terms of doing something out there. You let me know, and I'd love to meet up in
Oh,
person.
yeah.
The shindig.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's public. You don't have to hint at it. We announced it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shindigging, baby.
Yes. Saturday, July 20th. If you're able to make it, man, we'd love to have you out. We got a lot of other brands and companies coming out, so it should be a good time.
It's gonna be a hot one too.
It'll be warm,
Minnesota in July. Holy shit! What are we doing?
but it'll be good.
Nice. Yeah, no, I'll do my best to make it.
Awesome. Sounds good, man. Nice to meet you, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Take care.